So the other two important angles we're always going to be looking at are 30 degrees and 60 degrees, and we get the points on the unit circle from these special triangles. So let's take a look. When I have theta is pi over 3, which is 60 degrees, right? I have the point when x is 1/2, y is the square root of 3 over 2. This is one of the other three most important points we need to learn. So let's find the trig values of these. I have sine of theta is the square root of 3 over 2. I have cosine of theta, which is x is 1/2. I have tangent of theta, which is y over x. That gives me the square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1, which is just the square root of 3. I have my cosecant of theta, which is 1 over y, as 1 over the square root of 3 over 2, which gives you 2 over the square root of 3. So I have 2 square root of 3 over 3. If I have the secant of theta, which is 1 over x, that gives me 1 over 1/2, which is 2. And then if I have the cotangent of theta, when theta is 60 degrees, right? If I have x is 1/2, y is square root of 3 over 2, that gives me 1/2 times 2 over the square root of 3, which is 1 over the square root of 3, which becomes square root of 3 over 3. So those are the 6 trigonometric values of when theta is 60 degrees or pi over 3. Lastly, the final important point we need to memorize on our unit circle is pi over 6, which is 30 degrees. At this point is when x is the square root of 3 over 2 and y is 1/2. So let's find the trig values of this trig values for this theta. So sine of theta, which is my y, is 1/2. Cosine of theta, which is my x, is square root of 3 over 2. Tangent of theta, which is y over x, well, that's going to be 1/2 times 2 over the square root of 3, which gives me 1 over the square root of 3, but we don't like radicals in our denominator, so I get the square root of 3 over 3. My cosecant is of theta, which is 1 over y, is 1 over 1/2, so I get 2. My secant of theta is 1 over the square root of 3 over 2, which is 2 square root of 3 over, 2 square root of 3 times the square root of 3 on the top and the bottom. I jumped ahead of myself. That gives me 2 square root of 3 over 3. And then our cotangent of theta, which is x over y, is the square root of 3 over 2 over 1/2. So that would give me the square root of 3 over 2 times 2, which is just finally the square root of 3. Ta-da! So here are some of the exact values of our trigonometric functions for pi over 6, which is 30 degrees, pi over 4, which is 45 degrees, and pi over 3, which is 60 degrees. Doing these problems, any kind of trig problem, is a lot easier if you have a unit circle. You can find one on the internet, or I did upload a blank one to our class Blackboard so you can practice filling it out. Goal is to try and see if you can complete it in under 5 minutes, in case you feel like practicing some. Example 8, we're skipping. It was about building a gutter or something. No, we're not talking about that. Let's move on to example 9. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice finding exact values of the trigonometric functions for integral multiples of pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3. Pi over 4 is 45 degrees, so here are its values on the unit circle. Pi over 6 is 30 degrees. Here's its values on the unit circle. And pi over 3 is 60 degrees. So here are its points along the unit circle every 60 degrees as I go around. So this is a great place to help you get started filling out, creating your own unit circle. So if I want sine of 5 pi over 4, well, I'm going to take 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, which is just pi, right, over 2. 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, which is pi, 5 pi over 4, which is right here. Sine is y, so I have negative square root of 2 over 2. Next, I want cosine of 135 degrees. That's going to be switching to orange. 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 135 degrees. Cosine is x, so again, I get negative square root of 2 over 2. Let's take a look at cotangent of 315 degrees. So that's going to be in green. We've got 180, 270 plus 45. That puts me at 315 degrees. Cotangent is my x over y. So I have the square root of 2 over 2 over the negative square root of 2 over 2, which is negative 1. Lastly, in red, we've got the cosine of negative pi over 4. Remember, negative degrees, we go counterclockwise, so I'm going to go this way. Again, cosine is my x value, so I have the square root of 2 over 2.